My parents gave my sister a beachside villa and handed me an empty parking lot like a prank. My dad laughed and said, "At least you can sleep under the stars." A few months later, that worthless lot was printing money, and they showed up asking for a share. They only invited me to dinner when they wanted something. I still went, because some part of me kept hoping they'd change. I still showed up anyway, because some stupid part of me kept hoping they'd act like parents. My sister was already there, swirling wine like she owned the room. Dad folded his newspaper. We're dividing our assets. Mom beamed at my sister. "The beach house is yours, sweetheart." My sister did the gasp like she'd won. Then Dad looked at me, expression flat. "And you get the parking lot on 8th. I blinked. "The cracked one?" Mom waved a hand. "It's land. Be grateful." My sister snorted. "At least you'll always have a place to sleep under the stars." They laughed like it was a joke I was supposed to swallow. Looking back, that wasn't tough love. It was entertainment. I kept wondering if they even heard themselves. I didn't argue. I just stood up and said, "I'll make something of it." Then I looked at my sister. "When I do, don't come knocking." The lot was a sad punchline. Weeds through asphalt. A rusted sign hanging by one bolt. I filed permits the next morning and started calling food trucks. I borrowed a small loan from my shop boss, the first adult in my life who didn't treat hard work like a punchline. Lights went up, tables, a little stage. 3 weeks later, my place to sleep was a packed food court with lines around the block and music thumping through the pavement. People posted it online. It went viral. Mom showed up first. Nose wrinkled like joy offended her. "So this is what you've done," she said. "You gave me trash," I told her. "I made it useful." She sniffed. "This isn't a real business. It's a phase." "That phase is making more than her influencer career," I said, and Mom's smile cracked. My sister marched in behind her and froze at the crowd. "What is this, a flea market?" "It's called profit," I said. She pointed at the lot. "You can't sell this. It's family property." That was the moment I understood the rules only mattered when I won. "Oh, now it's family," I said. "Funny, I don't remember that word at dinner." Mom tried again. "If it's doing well, maybe we discuss a partnership." I laughed. No. That no made them mean. 1-star reviews popped up overnight. Then inspectors arrived with anonymous complaints about permits, seating, noise, anything to slow me down. They wanted me buried in red tape. Instead, I locked everything down. Every license, every rule, every inspection. I ran events, brought in performers, and made the place impossible to ignore. Their sabotage just turned into free publicity. Then my sister made her biggest mistake on a packed Saturday night. She stumbled in drunk, mascara smeared, screaming like the crowd owed her attention. "This place is a joke." I walked over. "Calm. Leave." She grabbed a drink from a stranger's table. Then she flung it at me. Cold beer hit my chest and soaked through. Next, the music cut dead mid-beat. Phones snapped up across the crowd. Then my shirt clung heavy and wet. 2 guards pinned her down, hard. Then I said, "Call the cops." 10 minutes later, red and blue lights washed over my lot. My sister sobbed in the back of the cruiser, suddenly small. Mom shook with fury. "You're ruining the family name." "You did that yourself," I said, and went back to work. A week later, my parents came again. No laughter, just panic. Dad's business was bleeding money. My sister needed cash fast because she'd been spending like consequences were optional. Mom tried the same script. "We're family. We help each other." I stared at her and felt something in me go quiet. Family doesn't show up with their hand out after they've used your face as a doormat. They asked for a loan. I said no. They begged. I still said no. And when Mom hissed, "Why are you being spiteful?" I finally smiled. Spiteful would be buying your house just to remind you it isn't yours. Their faces changed, so I showed them the purchase confirmation on my phone. The bank had listed their home, and I bought it. Mom started crying. Dad looked like someone unplugged him. "I'm not heartless," I said. "You can stay. On one condition." I slid a contract across the table. "I own it. You pay me rent every month. No delays." Dad's hand trembled as he signed. They spent years telling me I didn't belong there. Now they were paying to live in my house. And every time the rent hit my account, I slept just fine. No stars required.